So there's the big maple. They did, oh God, I can't even budge that. He did cut it. And then I'm starting to split it. Yeah, there is so much wood there. So yes, the tree is down. The least expensive tree feller, Timber Toppers, if you're ever over on the west side of Puget Sound, highly recommended. 2 thumbs up. They were great. They were great. So after the tree guy begged out, and after I got the $10,000 quote from the guy in Paulsbo, both seemingly very knowledgeable, or else I was flim-flammed, which is certainly possible. The tree guy wanted $2,500. The other guy wanted $10,000. The first guy, Timber Toppers, wanted $1,300. So you'd think, well, go with the lowest bidder. But I kind of liked the second guy, and so I went with him. Didn't work out. So called Timber Toppers back, and he said, yeah, I'll come out and look at it again. So he came out and looked at it, and I told him the whole story. I was totally transparent. And how one had said $10,000 and had to bring equipment in, and how the guy I had commissioned to do it climbed up and backed out. So the guy, Timber Toppers guy, kind of smiled. He's real quiet. And he said, yeah, $1,300. And a week later, he called and said, hey, I had a cancellation. I could do it today if you want. I said, heck yes. Let's get this thing out of here. I mean, it was looming over the house, you know. And it wasn't, I didn't hear any creaks or groans, but I was always aware of it. Like, what would I do? Well, I don't know. What would you do if a tree fell on your house, you know? You'd have to have the reflexes of a cat, and not an old cat like Elsa, to respond meaningfully to a tree coming through your house. Oh my goodness. So they did it, and they were great. They were great. Fell exactly where he said it would. They cut it up into rounds. It was a great experience. Didn't have to bring equipment in through the woods. Oh my God, what a problem that would have been. So yay. The tree is down. And I'll put up a little video of it. I should have used a better camera. I used my phone. And I was kind of focused on the guy pulling the rope around from the blocks, and then it went to the tree, and then boom, the tree's coming down. So it's a very short video. I should have been paying more attention, but that worked out great. So So it's the middle of the week, and I'm home in the middle of the day. So last weekend was a motorcycle club run up to Vancouver, BC. You know, it's been such a beautiful summer for us. It's like dry, warm, sunny, and then 2 months ago, on that third weekend, motorcycle weekend, it just poured down rain. And then this last weekend, it was predicted to do exactly the same thing. So the run was up at Mount Seymour Provincial Park, in North Vancouver, which is, there's a group campsite that's pretty close to the top, up by the lodge. There's a ski area up there. And so Vancouver's at, what, 20-foot elevation or something. It's a coastal city. And Mount Seymour just goes up, and we were camped at 3,300 foot elevation. And we were in the clouds, but Thursday, Friday were just wet, atmospheric river wet, and relatively cold. One guy went up there on Friday. Everybody else delayed until Saturday. So he went up on Friday and came back. He was just disgusted with the weather. He said, "It's cold, it's wet, I'm getting out of here." So he did. Don't blame him. So instead of setting up a tent, which probably would have been better, and it didn't really rain on us per se. It was just sort of a heavy mist. So we missed the worst of it because there was a lot of rain. But ended up sleeping in the shelter, which does have walls and doors, and there actually was a wood stove in there, but we didn't use the wood stove. Layout pads, but it's cold concrete, and it was chilly, and so I felt a cold coming on, and I thought, well, we'll tough it out. And it was a great weekend in a lot of ways. Always good to be in Vancouver. Richard, I'm sorry I didn't give you a call. I kind of expected to blitz home, and then I got sick. So when I came back Monday, it was just kind of a slog back home. I really wasn't in the mood for too much socializing. So next time, rain check. Oh, I'm smoking some in a Missouri Meerschaum Mark Twain with the aftermarket bit that actually really improves the experience, if you ask me. It's a quality bit. Cost as much as a pipe, but which still isn't that much, like 20 plus bucks, something like that. And of course some vintage Balkan Supreme in here. But anyway, I got back Monday and I thought, I do have a COVID test, maybe I should test. And it was positive. Which means I picked it up before I went up to Vancouver, but I probably spread it to a couple of the other guys in the club unintentionally. So, I'm home from work this week. I am doing as much as I can on the phone, managing little projects and stuff. Answering emails, a few phone calls. It's amazing what you can kind of do from home. COVID sort of changed all that, I think, for forever, being able to work from home a little bit. But it's a work requirement that I not be in the office, and that's good, until I test negative and don't have a fever, and I haven't had a fever yet. And it's really like a mild flu. Not even that. Well, yeah, probably the flu. But pretty mild for me, not even middling, more mild. So, little chest congestion. You can hear some nasal stuff. Runny nose, little cough occasionally, but that's much better than it was. It was a decent cough, a lot of congestion, but that's it. I mean, no killer headache, no diarrhea, no vomiting, no blah, blah, blah. So pretty mild stuff. And I did not get, when the vaccine came out, I was a real proponent of it, and not to make this political. It's gotten so politicized. Come on, people. It's public health. But they hadn't tested it, of course. Certainly not sufficiently. So, by now, we know that there are a lot of contraindications to the vaccine, those mRNA vaccines. So, yeah. So I chose to not get the last round. And I was reading in the Seattle Times today that COVID is way up, but the symptoms are usually pretty mild, and even if you did get the vaccine last fall, it's probably worn off. So, I don't think that would help me. And I'm not interested in, nor am I a good case for like Paxlovid or Lovid or whatever the hell it is. So, yeah, just tough it out. Split some wood, work up a little sweat, bake some bread. Yeah. Just hang out at home. Do some stuff that I never get to really do these days, because weekends are busy recreating, and then the week is at work and doing other stuff, and so it's fun kind of being home for a week. I'm going to get really tired of it real quick here, but yeah. So picked a lot of blackberries. It's a good year for blackberries. I've got like 7 gallons in the freezer. So there will be pies this winter. The fundraising event, should I be smoking? Probably not with chest congestion. But that's what these videos are about. So there was a fundraiser for the Kingston Community Center, and they call it Pie in the Park. And so you make pies, and 2 pies. One gets auctioned off or raffled, and then the other one gets cut up and distributed to everybody who wants a piece of pie. Try these various pies. It's a great event. So I made a couple of them. I made a blackberry plum pie, and that got raffled and enjoyed. And then I made a Pink Lady apple Rainier cherry pie for auction. And that auctioned for $460, which I thought was pretty good. So that was a success. Next year I might try and raffle off a pie baking class. We'll see if that goes. I don't know. Maybe it's the wrong crowd for that. But I've done it as a fundraiser for a couple of different organizations. And that goes for quite a bit, along with the pie. So, yeah. So anyway, I'm here at home with COVID. Thus, I'm a little informal. Sorry about that. But I'm going to go out and split a little more wood. I need to switch the battery. Modern car woes. So any modern car is going to have a ton of electronics. So what manufacturers are starting to do is like lump them onto a panel that looks like a PC motherboard, and with all these big plug-ins from the car. And there's a body control module that controls like most of the interior stuff and the lights and that kind of stuff. Heater, heated seats, you name it, instrument panel. And then there's the other one that's like the engine control module. So, along with some other stuff. So, I had been experiencing a known issue where they have started, probably in the interest of space and building these things all as a single unit offsite. They just plug it in and you're done. So on the truck, relays for big electrical loads are in a separate box, and they're these physical kind of square looking things like big fuses. And so you can take a look and, oh, is that relay popped? Well, then replace the relay for $10 or whatever, or less. That's the old school way of doing it. The new way of doing it is to put all that stuff on these boards and consolidate it in one place. I can understand from a designer's point of view why that might be nice. So the relays are soldered onto this body control module. And that's fine if the relays last as long as they should, which is 1 million to 5 million open and closings. Well, apparently this is what makes a Fiat, I guess. Or a Stellantis product. Because this could happen to you. Why does it never happen to Toyotas or Hondas? One of the headlight relays failed. And so I started having this intermittent problem where, the headlights wouldn't go out when you turn the car off. And there is a feature where if you hit the high beam once or twice, it'll keep them on, so it will guide you to your door. It'll give you light. And I thought maybe that's what was screwed up and it just needed to be readjusted somehow. No, that was wishful thinking. So it was the headlight relays soldered onto the body control module. So you'd think, well, just unsolder it and throw another relay on there, you know. Apparently Fiat got a bad batch of those relays and they don't last nearly as long as they should. So, known problem. Why are known problems not recalls? It's a 2013 car, and it's got 85,000 miles on it. Well, 80,000, I think. You know, it lasted a while. So, yeah, I mean, they didn't catch it, but come on, there should be some kind of recall on that stuff. It's a defective part. Anyway, there were some videos on how to take it all apart and how to desolder it. You needed some special equipment to do that. And the chance of screwing up the board was good. So I thought, well, I'll just order a new board. There were new ones on eBay for like $450 thereabouts. And I'll just plug it in there and then plug everything back in and we're good to go. Well, not really, because the board needs to be programmed. So, by the dealer. Apparently it's not... Well, the videos made it seem like it was dealer only. But I suspect a decent import car shop would have the tools to do that. I would sure hope, right? So anyway, I just said, screw this. I'm just going to do it at the dealer. So I did, and sure enough, it was as much as advertised to replace that board. But it's only money, and that's why we work, right? So anyway, the problem is solved. But the current issue is that the battery, which I replaced a couple years ago, got worked pretty hard and got discharged a few times because it was daylight. I didn't realize the headlights were on. I wasn't attuned to that problem. So I came out to a dead car and had to be jumped, you know. So a friend of mine who has lots of vehicles and stuff, he said, yeah, you know, batteries, 2 or 3 deep discharges and you're done. The thing's usually needs to be replaced. So I've been having an issue where the electronic throttle control, which is the throttle body, kind of with a little valve in it, There's a light on the dash that comes on, and also the engine will start running rough, and it will turn itself off, and then the battery light comes on. And I think it's a low voltage situation, because this stuff all requires a certain voltage. Even my year 2000 Victory Sport Cruiser, just to start, just for the fuel injection to come to life, requires like 11 volts or 11.2 volts of juice. And that poor little sort of undersized battery on that bike, they don't live but a couple of years, and then you start getting issues where it won't start because it doesn't have the voltage to start. So all electronic stuff. So I'm gonna get that battery replaced so the car's reliable again, because I really think that's the problem. It just feels like that's the problem. Of course, it's a Fiat, it could be anything, right? So it's been a great car otherwise. It's the Abarth model, so it's super fun, 36 miles per gallon on average. It's so short, less than 14 feet, that I only pay 70% of the regular ferry fee when I ride across Puget Sound, because it's so small. It's not a motorcycle, but it's a tiny car, so I get a discount. It's great. I really like the car, and I'm not ready to get rid of it yet. And the truck, I think I explained before that one of the guys who came with the tree guy who exited said, "Oh yeah, just put in a choke cable in there to control that fuel on-off mechanism." He said, "I wouldn't drill into that fuel pump because chances are good you'll damage something, and who knows what you'll drill into, and there's an expensive part." So that's what I'm going to do, is get a choke cable, a manual choke cable, and there's a few videos online for that too. Almost car shit, I tell you. But if you drive old cars, you're going to experience it. The electronics thing, though, is only as strong as the weakest link. And when that weakest link breaks, you're stranded. And they're all more electronic every day. Makes for a lot more power out of smaller engines, much better mileage, much less emissions, a smoother driving experience, etc. But the price is complication. So now I had always thought, well, I mean, if it's these boards, you just replace the boards. And with the onboard diagnostics, it usually can tell you where the problem is, and then swap out a board and you're good to go. But now these boards need to be programmed by the dealer to know that you have heated seats, that you have, I don't know, air conditioning, who knows. So somebody told me, yeah, the car won't start without it being programmed to the car, the board. And that has to happen at the dealer. Now, whether that was accurate or not, I don't know. Anyway, a first world problem. Overall, despite COVID, the tree is down, life is good.
So there's Elsa. Oh yeah, sleeping. In a little shady soft patch, yes. Mm-hmm. You are a great skilled man.